All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to episode 60 of the Samurai Brothers podcast. Matthew, we've gotten this far and we've got a loaded episode. And so we'll try to make sure we're moving on things here. But the Banzuke for the Sumo in the Kyushu Basho, the November tournament, has been released as of about couple hours ago. And so we're actually going to, our main focus for today is on that subject is going to be going over our Guess the Banzuke results. So we're going to see how that goes today. And then we'll be discussing chapter 1163 of One Piece. So I know that you and I have a lot to say about that. So we'll go ahead and get started then with the Guess the Banzuke results. So here we go. All right. So Matthew, let's see here. We are looking at. All right. So the Banzuke itself, and we're also going to calculate how well we did. All right. Onosato for the East Yokozuna with Hoshoryu as the West Yokozuna. Technically, I guess the what would you call it? The Yokozuna Ozeki. And then Kotozakura, unsurprisingly, as the East Ozeki. So I think with that being said, I think we got all three of those right. Is that correct?
Yeah, it wasn't likely that there wasn't going to be one.
Yeah. So, and then Aonishiki, rightfully being the East Sekiwake, with Oho being the West Sekiwake. That should not be of any surprise, obviously.
Yeah, so we both guessed those correctly.
So both guess those correctly. So we're now both with 5 correct guesses. We have 10 points due to 5 bullseyes. So I guessed that Takanosho was going to be the East Komosubi. Matthew, your guess was
Hakuoho.
okay. And then I guessed that Hakuoho would be the West Komosubi, but and you guessed
Watatage Kage for the West.
okay. So I had Takanosho correct as the East Komosubi, and as it turns out, the Kyokai put Takayasu as the West Komosubi. So I think that's where we're starting off with getting
the divergent point.
Yes, the divergent point there. So obviously that's where we're starting to see where things are going. So Hakuoho ended up being the East Maegashira 1, Wakataka Kage being the West Maegashira 1. So obviously now things are going to kind of not look so great for us in that aspect. Because did you get either of those right? I don't.
No, because I had Takanosho as the East one and Wakamoto Haru as the West one.
Right, which is what I had too. So now we move into Kirishima ends up being the East 2 Maegashira, and Wakamoto Haru is the West 2 Maegashira. So I'm getting a 1 point for having Kirishima at the correct rank. I just thought he was going to be the West, and
I got one as well.
For what was it? Was it Wakamoto Haru? Or no, it was
for Kirishima.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because you guessed him as the West as well. All right, so let's see.
No, I guessed them for the East.
Oh, if you guessed him for the East.
Yeah, I guessed him for the West. Never mind. Sorry.
Yeah, so you get 1 point. All right, so now we go to M3 Hirado Umi was the M3 East, with Ura being the West M3. So I had Hiradomi as the M3 East, so I get a full 2 points for that. I get no points for Ura. So Matthew, how were your guesses there?
I guess so. I got them exactly as they were, except they were reversed. So I got one one for Uran, one for Hiradomi.
Okay, so you had them flipped, but you had them at the same rank.
Right. So
Right.
I got points. I just didn't get the full points.
Yeah, you got 2 points, just not 4 points. All right. So moving on into M4. So Tamawashi ends up being the M4 East, and Oshoma is the M4 West. And I know that we both guessed Oshoma being the M4 West. So, and then who did you have for the East M4?
Tamawashi.
Okay, so you're gonna get 4 points.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where I either get some points, no points, or all the points.
Yep.
So with Tamawashi and Oshoma, I guessed correctly.
Yep, and I got Oshoma correct. So you get 4 there. I get 2. All right. M5 East is Yoshino Fuji, aka Kusano. So, and then Chodai is going to be the M5 West. Now, I had both of these correct. Matthew, how about you?
I had them flipped.
Okay, so you had them both at M5, just on the other side.
Right.
All right. So M6, we have Kamifuji on the east and Onokatsu on the west. So I had Atami Fuji at M6 West. So I get 1 point, and then I don't get any points for Onokatsu. How about what you had for M6?
I guessed M6 correctly.
Both slots?
Yeah, Atami Fuji on the east, Onokatsu on the west.
Oh, okay. All right. So now we are going to go to M7. So they brought Churanomi up from M10 at 9 and 6, and then Abi is M7 West at 3 and 12 at M1. So I get no points for Churanomi, but I did correct Abi correctly, and also you guessed Abi because we had a matching pick. And then who did you have for M7 East?
I got Chiranomi.
Oh, okay. So you get 4 points for that one.
Yeah. So I guessed correctly.
Wow. Okay. Now, M8. Now, I went bold with Shishi, which was incorrect. So what they did was they have, and Ichi Yamamoto is the M8 East, which means that he had, like Abi, he got some good Banzuke luck from that. And then Kimbozan is the M8 West. So who did you have, Matthew?
I had Koto Shoho on the M8 East and Ichi Yamamoto on the M8 West. So I got 1 point for Ichi Yamamoto.
Okay. I guess Kimbozan correctly at M8 West. So I will get 2 points for that one. So I correctly guessed that he was not going to move down. Okay, so M9. M9, Midori Fuji on the east. M9, he did not move at all after 7 and 8. Tobizaru got a very big boost, 9 and 6 from M15. He went up to M9 West. So who did you have, Matthew?
He said M9.
Yeah, M9.
So I guessed Midori Fuji for the east and Kinbozan for the west. So I got 1 point for Midori Fuji.
Well, if you guessed him on the east, you'll get 2 points.
No. I guess Kinbozan on the east and Midori Fuji on the west.
Okay, so you'll get 1 point for Midori Fuji at the rank. I had both Midori Fuji and Tobizaru in the correct spot, so I'm going to get 4 points for that one. Okay, M10. M10, they have Daisho at M10 East and Koto Shoho at M10 West. And I had Daisho in M10 East. I had Tomokaze at M10 West. So I'm getting 2 points. Matthew, how about you?
For M10, I guess Tobizaru on the east and Daisho on the west. So I got 1 for Daisho.
Got 1 for Daisho. All right. M11. This is where we have Shishi at, and Roga who finished 7 and 8 at M11. He's going to stay right where he's at. So how did you do, man?
I didn't get either one because I guessed Tomokaze on the east and Fujinokawa on the west, and neither of them are there. So
okay, so I did get Roga correct for being on the west, so I will get 2 points. All right, now M12. We both guessed Ryuden on the east and Mitakume on the west. However, it's going to be Fujinokawa and Fujinokawa. Oh wait, I picked Mitakume for the west. It's going to be Fujinokawa and Tomokaze. So Matthew, how did you end up doing?
I guessed Ryuden on the east and Roga on the west, so I get no points.
M13. All right. Gonoyama is dropping down to M13 with Mitakume being M13 West. So he did drop one slot. Now, I had neither guesses correct. How about you?
I guessed Gonoyama on the west, so I got 8 points, but I guess Shishi on the east, so
okay,
I got 8 points.
All right. M14, I know I'm not going to get either of these right because they're already out, but it ends up being Ryuden on the east and Toki Hayate on the west. So that I did not get correct. And I imagine did you get any of these correct?
I guessed Mitake Umi on the east, and I guessed correctly Toki Hayate on the west. So I got the full for Toki Hayate.
So you get 2 points at that rank. All right. Now we go into M15. All right. M15 ends up being Nishiki Fuji, who gets promoted from day 3 after an 11-4 Basho, and then Shonan Noumi stays at M15 after going 7 and 8. Now, I guessed both of those correctly. How about you?
I guessed Oshomi on the east and Nishiki Fuji on the west. So I got one for Nishiki Fuji.
Okay. And yes, Oshomi is going to be M16 East with Sada Noumi at M16 West. Now, I got 1 point for Sada Noumi. I put him in the East, so he's actually on the West, so I get 1 point for that. And how about you, Matthew?
M16, I guess Chio Shoma on the east and Shonanomi on the west. So I got nothing.
Okay, M17. Yes, it looks like Chiyoshima was brought up in favor of Toshi. So we have him now at M17 with Asakoryu at M17, which I did not get either of them right. And I imagine, did you get anything right?
I got Asakoryu correct.
In the east, in the west slot?
Yep.
Okay. And our M18 is going to be Meisei. I picked Toshi, so I'm not getting that. How about you?
I also picked Hitoshi.
Okay. So with that being said, so I had a total of, I had 3 rank guesses correct. And then for myself, I had, let's see here. All right. So I had 18 bullseyes. So I have a grand total of 39 points. And Matthew, how about you?
I had 34.
Yeah, 34. Okay. So obviously my score went down from the last time. And it's kind of hard to get this, you know? So we'll have to see how the rankings are.
Well, the reality is this is a very subjective
Yes.
Because they get together, because it's a bunch of guys in a room getting together and figuring out where everyone goes. This is one of those things about sumo in terms of a martial art is matchmaking, and most martial arts are matchmaking.
Yes.
You know, it's like when you put them in the tournament, when you put them in the Olympics, it's all matchmaking. It's very subjective. You could have two people who obviously this doesn't happen as often because seeding is a thing, but you could have in some cases you can have two people, and it doesn't happen in sumo because sumo is, you know, basically it's somewhat of a round robin system, but you know, you could have two people in matchmaking. You have two people who should be facing each other in the finals, going against each other in the semis or the quarters, depending on how things go. So it's one of those things where it's subjective and you can't really.
Yep. By the way, so it looks like that the final rankings for the Guess the Banzuke game did get released. So it looks like I was placed at 306 out of 335. My 39 points were good enough for a 4-11 score. You placed 312 out of 335. However, the grading curve still gave you, for your 35 points, still a 4-11 also. So an interesting finish. So again, I think the big topic about this Banzuke is, again, Takayasu.
I don't agree with that. I really don't agree with that. There were a bunch of other people who I think deserve to either hold on to that spot or, you know, deserve to go up. I don't agree with this. The last time I could understand, because you had the top like M1, M3 or M3 or M4, and then the person who was above that, or who was Kachikoshi, didn't have enough to warrant getting Komusubi status. Cause like I think that was the Basho that Hakuoho and Aonishiki were the M1s.
Yes.
And that they did well, but they both didn't. They weren't at that level yet. So I can understand that one. This one, you had a bunch of momentum. I don't agree with this.
Well, with that being said, so next
I'm
week
going to call this. I'm going to call this veteran privilege. He's getting veteran privilege here.
Well, with that being said, next week we'll be talking about you know, how things are looking for everyone, and we'll see how that goes for sure. So now we're gonna move into the big topic of the day, which is One Piece chapter 1163. We did see that there was going to be a chapter, so we are going to take this opportunity to discuss it. And looks like there will be another chapter next week, Matthew, because the Viz app does say that new chapter coming in 7 days. But with that being said, so where we left off last time was Emu took over Saturn, and he's in his spider form. But we see that Emu's head is the one that's taking over as of right now. And so he's killing off Marines that are
actually, it's kind of interesting. Actually, it's interesting because in that form, Saturn's head is still visible.
Yeah, actually, you're right. We can see Saturn. Excuse me. Okay.
So it's more like Emu.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of different from how Gunko looks, right?
Yeah, because Gunko was literally just
taken over.
Yeah, it was just it was a full-on possession. It's not like this where Emu is sprouting out of Saturn.
Yeah. So with that being said, obviously Emu is attacking Marines and pirates. You know, it's just all over the place because Emu doesn't want this. He does not want this to get out.
Yeah, it's God Valley is one of those situations where it's like dead men tell no tales. No one on this island is gonna leave alive.
Yeah.
That can't be trusted.
So with that being said, we see a Marine officer giving orders to withdraw, not to attack. We see that Roger is finding people who have been attacked, and he's telling Gabon to help them and to get out of there, basically, because this is like the new situation going on, and it's real kind of an emergency for everyone, so to speak.
Yeah.
And then obviously Garp is upset at what's going on here. But it looks like this is the first time that the Garp is seeing one of the 5 elders. And obviously
he's not afraid of voicing his displeasure out loud.
Yes. And then at the same time, we see Rox is confronting.
Yeah, Rox knows exactly who he's up against.
Yep. And of course, Emu is calling him Davy Jones, but Rox retorts with that he's never seen him, but that he's obviously wanting to take out Emu.
I'll mention this later, but this kind of conforms to, well, I'll talk about it afterwards.
Yeah. So Emu tries attacking Rox, but Rox cuts off one of the legs of Saturn. What else are we seeing here? Now, Garp looks like he's getting ready to take on Emu as well in that form.
Well, because it's like, if this thing is attacking the Marines as well, in his mind, it's against
an enemy.
Yeah, it's an enemy. So, I mean, that's one of those things where it's kind of that Roger clearly has more wherewithal. Roger clearly has more intelligence than Garp. You can tell Luffy got a lot of
his mentality
from Garp.
Yeah.
Where he's kind of simplistic, and he's like, oh, smash.
Yeah.
Take care of a problem. And so he's viewing this as, oh, this is an enemy. Smash.
So here's something we're seeing in all the chaos. Captain John is getting ready to leave the Rocks Pirates because he has a group of people, and they're getting ready to take out the treasure. And then we see that Dragon is still trying to take Shanks away. And I'm not getting what happened here, but either he got attacked or he got...
He's got a rifle. He's got a rifle on his back.
Yeah.
It's strapped to his back, so it's clearly secure enough to where it lifted him up.
Yeah, is that what happened though? Because I'm
yeah. I mean, look at it. It's a rifle. It's a rifle, and it's being tugged.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's strapped to his back, secure enough to take him, and it's got enough.
Oh yes, okay, yeah, I see why that's happening now, because we see in the next panel that Captain John is using an attack or a move called Big Eater,
a devil fruit.
Yep, and it turns out he has the magnet fruit. So obviously that would explain why a lot of things are getting pulled towards him.
I forgot. Is that Kid's fruit, or does he have something else?
I think Kid has something else, but let's do a quick Eustace, Kid, devil fruit.
And of course it's affecting Scopper because he's got
yes
twin wielding
it is the magnet fruit. So that means
this Captain is kind John. Of another one of those parallels.
Yep.
There's a lot. It's like this is one of those things where like fate is clearly working, because there's a lot of parallels between what happened at God Valley and what's happening in the modern day.
Yep. And this forces Roger to be like he's going to abandon, the whole treasure thing to begin with. And then we get what's his name? I forget what this guy's name is, because he's so insignificant.
I think they'll list him later.
Yeah,
Ganzui.
Yeah, Ganzui. So he attacks Captain John, and I don't know if he took him out or if he just knocked him unconscious with this. And then what happens is while Dragon was floating, he falls down and he apparently gets knocked out. Shiki comes up and he's like yelling at Ganzui why he attacked him, and Ganzui's explaining that John was going to take the treasure, and obviously with the devil fruits being that they were, Ganzui tells Shiki that they're worth at least 1 billion berries each. But then with Shiki turning his back to Ganzui, Ganzui is getting ready to take out Shiki as well. So this is where we see that the Rocks pirates obviously were not friendly terms at all, and that they're willing to double cross each other at whenever the opportunity presents itself.
Well, as we've established, that they were put together primarily. One of two things, they were put together primarily through one of two things, either through the Davy back fight or direct recruitment, in which case it was more towards their benefit than the crew.
Right. So then we got Garp. He's getting ready to fight Emu, but we see that Kaido and Big Mom and Newgate are closing in as well.
Initially, Big Mom was going to go after Kaido, but then she saw the bigger threat.
Yep. Also, Rocks, Roger, and Garp. And they all use.
We get one of the most spectacular battle shots I've ever seen.
One that you'll never ever see again.
Yes, you've got 3 Ds, 3 of the most powerful men, and 3 of the original emperors.
Future emperors.
Yeah. Doing an attack on Emu.
However, it all seems
to be
eats it. Plus, he unleashes a Conqueror's Hockey charge.
Yeah, but since that type of Conqueror's Hockey attack is not since it was unleashed against 6 Conqueror Hockey users, and because they've already got Conqueror's Hockey, it didn't knock them out. It did knock out other people, though, clearly.
Yeah. Now, obviously, we got more pirates running away.
Dragon's waking up.
Rayleigh is telling people to pick up the treasures. Dragon comes too, but instead of holding Shanks, he's holding a tree. And here's something that, again, Liam got right.
But buy one of the treasure chests.
Yep. Shanks crawls. Well, I think, what was it? Was his original guess supposed to be that Dragon was going to hide Shanks in a treasure chest?
Well, yeah, because according to the Vivia card, like one of the Vivia card data book editions, the Roger pirates found Shanks in a treasure chest, and it was eventually established that it was after the God Valley incident. So this is basically establishing that we have baby Shanks drawn to the treasure because babies are like, oh, shiny things, and ends up in the chest.
So Emu confronts Rocks again. And we can see how Emu can see things because he can see Rock's wife and Teach running through the forest. And what Emu
Eris.
Eris. What Emu is saying is that by Rock's own hand, he's going to end his bloodline by killing his wife and child. And he uses Domi Reversi, which is what what makes people, turn into their demonic forms. And so this is where the chapter ends. And now we're going to get into the really juicy talk, Matthew, which is that this now makes sense as to why. And I'm guessing that Rox from here is going to go on a rampage. And obviously he's going to be going after Eris and Teach. Now, how much of an effect that has on Teach is probably another discussion. But we now see why there is the conversation that Sengoku had with everyone, that Garp and Roger had to team up to take on Rox. This is it.
Oh, and Liam did make a prediction there, and we did establish that the older Davies were not immune to Domi Reversi, and that clearly, because Emu wasn't there, the what's it called? The God Knights probably have the ability to activate Domi Reversi. But something I was gonna say is that what part of the chapter was I gonna say that? Let me go back.
I think you had been
referring to him as Davy Jones. At one point, Liam was predicting that Davy Jones and Joy Boy might have been the same guy, but as I recall, Emu will refer to them as separate entities. So it's possible that your theory that they were the original pirate rivalry might be correct.
Yeah, like we've seen now.
But we also can't count out the idea that D might stand for the Davy clan.
Yeah, I think we were both in agreement is that the D probably does stand for the Davy clan.
And as for the inclusion of giants, we do have to remember that what's his name? That Scopper had a child with a giant.
Yeah, there's always that. I mean, because there's a lot of the whole, which we won't.
And then you've got the Buccaneers, and then you've got all the crossbreeding that Big Mom did and stuff like that. So,
anything is possible in One Piece.
Yeah, anything is possible in One Piece. But also, the D might not necessarily. When we say D, it might not necessarily have to do specifically with the
Davy clan.
No, well, it might have to do with the Davy clan, but not necessarily by blood, because another one of those fan theories that's gone around that Liam brought up was the possibility that D stands for that the D's might stand for descendants of those crew members. So they might not necessarily be genetically related.
Well, that's going to be an interesting thing.
As we established, the Nefertari family had D, but they were an established dynasty.
Right, they were an established dynasty.
Right, they were an established dynasty who was ruling Alabasta.
So that being said, yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see how the outcome of this is going to be, and we're going to get a new chapter next week. So, final thoughts, Matthew, before we close out.
This is clearly going to result in a tragic incident. Well, ultimately, because Garp and Roger, didn't like Rox, it's might not necessarily be tragic for them, but in the grand scale of things, this is tragic because they're going to stop a man from murdering his wife and son. Well, and for all we know, he might just have a little bit of that will enough to say, kill me. But, well, something else to take into this is that the theory that Dami Reversi is reversible, but only by the sun god. And for all we know, we might have two sun gods. We might have Loki and Luffy, who and that's the thing. I don't think a sun god can be Dami Reversi'd. I like Rox is a strong-willed guy, but he had a large amount of darkness in his heart.
Yeah,
as we established, he's a gray, complicated character.
Yeah,
so
it's very dark.
If Dami Reversi, I think, just brings out the natural darkness in someone. So,
well,
this really can't be that surprising. And he
you might have to say that comment for next week.
I was going to say, Emo might Dami Reversi teach.
Let's see let's see how that goes. Well, that could be something. So, with that being said, thank you everyone again for watching this, and we had a great conversation. So we hope to see you again next week with more Sumo and more One Piece. So take care, everyone.